When they give you too much time to think, and they're not keeping you active, and there's some excuses in the business, you start realizing, well, maybe it is true. Maybe I'm not as good anymore. You know what I mean? Things like that. So I haven't fought twice since 2019 in 1 year. Golden Boy said, hey, after a couple months, we'll get you a big fight. And here we are. That right there definitely inspires any athlete.
Well, Jose, boxing has taken you around the world already in the amateur ranks, but on November 16th, it's going to take you to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for this fight against Arnold Barboza. Your first time fighting in Riyadh, live on DAZN worldwide. How are you feeling about traveling to Riyadh and being part of this event?
I'm excited. As a fighter, we always dream to, travel all over the world and showcase our talents to different boxing fans. I think this is part of becoming a superstar, is going out there and having new fans fall in love with you and your style, So I think what we have to offer, especially this type of fight, between two Mexican Americans, it's gonna bring a lot of excitement out there.
When you were young, what got you into boxing out there? What was the boxing landscape like for you?
Growing up in Avenel, it's a small little town, man. It's no more than 10,000 people living there. I mean, we're known for the state prison that we have close by, and people don't see much. At the age of 8 years old, if I would find a soccer ball in the street, I would kick it slowly until I got it to the house, and I would bang the ball left and right for hours. And then the gym opened up in Avenel, and it was brand new to the community. And my dad saw I had too much energy. I was a good athlete at the time, so he wanted me to do something that was going to keep me busy all year long. And that's how I started boxing. I had no idea what the sport of boxing was going to give me. It was just more of a kid, enjoying the competitive sport, and I really enjoy the awards that you would get if you would win the fight. It started like that, man. I started collecting trophies, and I would look at my room, and I remember having 3 trophies, then 4 trophies, then 100 trophies, and it always felt good. Later on, once I got a little older, that's when I told myself, I'm gonna do my best to become an Olympian, and then hopefully make a career out of it.
So when did you first realize that you were pretty good at this?
I'll say when I was around 15. Before then, most of the nationals were open invites, so you could go to this national tournament when you're 12, 13, and maybe not face the best. So it was always iffy. But when you're 15, 16, you start making your way to the JOs, which is like a domestic national championships, where you have to fight local and then advance to the state and then to the regionals and internationals. So once you got to the nationals, then that's when you're facing the best 16 fighters around the country. And I went as a 15-year-old, and I came back with the gold medal. And that's when I knew. I was like, oh, I guess I'm pretty good at this, And I think that's when I knew that I was gonna make this a career.
So 2012, you make the U.S. Olympic team. You travel to London for those Olympics. What was that experience like for you?
It was a beautiful experience. Being raised in Avenel, and just farming around Avenel, and and it was such a slow-paced town. I mean, the day seems forever. Now being one of the most known cities in the world, in London, representing a country as big and as powerful as the USA, and then I realized I'm gonna be wearing the same uniform as LeBron James, as Westbrook. I mean, then I got to see Usain Bolt run, and I'm like, man, I'm competing in the same level of competition in the sense of, getting the same exposure, and it was awesome.
You didn't get a chance to win a medal at the Olympics, but in the aftermath, you were still a sought-after guy. I mean, you signed with Top Rank pretty quickly. You started working with Freddie Roach pretty quickly. What were those early years like for you?
I met Freddie in the Olympic tryouts, and Freddie really liked working with me just because he knew the type of work ethic I had, and that's something Freddie Roach always appreciated, his work ethic. When I signed to Top Rank early on, it was based because, the matchmakers at the time, being Brad Goodman and Bruce Trampler, I mean, they Hall of Famers, They knew when they saw a good fighter. And sometimes amateur boxing and professional boxing is a little different, and they saw that I had more of the professional style to become a good world champion. For me at the time, I just wanted to fight. I really didn't think about my finances, my responsibilities that I think that I have now. You know, it was just, I just wanted to fight. I was fighting 3, 4 times, 5 times a year, and I was doing what I had to do.
Your first world title fight, New York City, big opportunity for you. What did that mean to win that world title?
I went in there with full confidence, you know, that I was going to go out there and win. There was no doubt, you know, and then it meant a lot to me because it was in August of 2017 when my mother got her residency. So it was her first domestic flight that she ever took. It was to go and travel to New York to see me fight.
Wow.
So, you know, I saw my father there, my mother, my family, my wife, my son. But I went in there as I'm gonna take care of business. You know, I went in there with full confidence, and I did that. Man, it was one of those fights that I can't tell you what I was feeling. It was like almost like possessed. Every single round, like I was like numbed. I couldn't take a step back. It was all forward, and Amir Rahman, who I faced, was a great fighter.
And things started to get even better for you after that. You're headlining ESPN shows. You get this big opportunity against Maurice Hooker in a title unification fight, and I thought you had one of the most spectacular performances of your career in that fight. What did that fight mean to you? What did that win mean to you?
In 2018, not only did I become a world champion, but I also got introduced to this idea of prize fighting. I thought I won my world title. And for people to say, but he's not the best 140. And that's when I wanted to go after the other world champions. And then the opportunity with Matchroom and Top Rank coming together and me fighting Maurice Hooker for that unification match, I was nothing but motivated to show everybody that I was the best 140 pounder, and I did it.
So if that was the high of highs in boxing for you, one of the lows had to have been losing your titles in your first pro loss to Josh Taylor. How hard was that for you to handle?
It was very hard because, you know, you got people that love you one day and then people that don't the next day. So, you know, you have to find a way to go through that, you know, and slightly learn how to focus on the people that love you and your team that takes care of you, regardless if you're at the highest level or at the lowest level. Then after that was I think my biggest downfall was the mental part of me not fighting enough, not being as active enough. And I think that hurt me more than the fight against Taylor. It's just so much time for me to think, you know, do I still got it? You know, am I still good enough? And then it gives you...
Did you start to question yourself?
100%. You know, when they give you too much time to think, you know, and they're not keeping you active, and there's some excuses in the business, you start realizing, well, you know, maybe it is true. Maybe I'm not as good anymore. You know what I mean? Things like that. So I felt like I got my second win. Once I went through that, and it was just my inactivity. So I haven't fought twice since 2019 in 1 year. Right now, this is again. I feel like, you know, Golden Boy together with the DAZN. Golden Boy said, "Hey, after a couple months, we'll get you a big fight," and here we are. That right there definitely inspires any athlete.
Certainly, a lot of people that believed you might be finished, you know, over the last few years. How much have you been motivated by proving people wrong?
My last 3 fights, you know, and I beat Pedraza pretty easily. I think Pedraza was just trying to survive the whole 12 rounds. I stopped, what's his name, the African fighter from Ghana, who was giving other fighters a hard time at 140. I feel like it takes a fight like this, making a statement against a guy like Arnold Barbosa in this fight, for people to you know, jump on the wagon again. But
it's kind of amazing that it's taken this long for you and Arnold Barboza to get in the ring, because you were top-ranked stablemates for many years.
Yeah.
For many years, you shared the same manager. It seemed like it was a natural fight to make at 140 pounds. Why has it taken so long for you two to get in the ring?
Well, people need to understand that during that time, in 2017, 2018, I think I was moving in a faster pace. They gave Arnold Barbosa more fights in the last couple of years. That's why he has the record he has now. I never saw him being parallel to me in the level of competition or in the level of boxing. Now he's earned this right. He's earned that this last couple of years. It could have happened 2 years ago. It could have happened after my Josh Taylor fight. As a matter of fact, my manager and myself, we started looking at the fighters who were ranked high. And so that's one of the fights that I was really interested in. Well, with Golden Boy, as you can see, it's happening now.
You've talked about the importance of this fight. No title on the line for this fight, but November 16th, is this the fight that says Jose Ramirez is back?
100%, because, you know, he's ranked, I believe, #1 in the WBO. So beating him would definitely make me the mandatory for Teofimo Lopez. And, you know, and that's a fighter I've been trying to face as well. Beating Arnold Barbosa will definitely put me in the sense to fight against any world title. And that's what I want, ultimately, is to fight for a world title fight. If you look at my resume, yeah, I have the most experience, but to many people's opinions, it's a 50-50 fight. So if I was, you know, to make a strong statement, I think that people are going to say, you know what, Arnold Barbosa was great, and Jose made him look like this. And I think that's definitely going to give a better picture of where I'm at.
Jose, appreciate it. We'll see you November 16th.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chris.